Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're in a different setting because we are doing a reading vlog. So we're in my room, and normally when I read books, I'm always in my room or in like a comfy place, and I always read in my bed. But we're rereading The Titan's Curse. I am very excited for this reading vlog because I don't think I've read The Titan's Curse since middle school, and that's when I first read all the Percy Jackson books. So it's been a while. Like, I can tell you big things that happened just because it's like been all over social media and like I've heard so much about it, but I can't tell you small details, which I think is quite important to remember. Also, season 3 of the show on Disney Plus, which is based on The Titan's Curse, is coming out this year, definitely. My guess is in December, because like we've made a whole thing that December are Percy Jackson months. So yeah, I'm really excited for this reading vlog. This is my first reading vlog, but I felt like it was time to finally reread this book and know what goes on in this book. I do want to give a disclaimer though. I might cry in today's reading vlog, which is honestly, I don't feel like that's embarrassing or like I don't feel like that's a bad thing to admit. I have just like grown up with these characters and like I love these characters so much and this series means a lot to me. And Annabeth, who's my favorite character, goes through a lot in this book. And there's also some like really devastating moments. If you compare Titan's Curse to The Sea of Monsters and like The Lightning Thief, there's a huge tonal shift. And everything is getting very serious. And yeah, it's gonna be emotional. I can just tell it's gonna be emotional. But I'm very excited. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the plan is to read 6 or 7 chapters each day until we reach the end. This is going to be a 3-day reading vlog, so today is day 1. Today we're going to read from chapter 1 till chapter 6, which is chapter 1, my rescue operation goes very wrong, and chapter 6 is an old dead friend comes to visit. One thing that I really like about these books is not the whole story and like the life lessons that it has, but also the chapter titles. They are so funny. I love how Rick has made these chapter titles so unserious and so like funny because it's like it sounds like how Percy would think or like it sounds like what Percy would say, you know? Like it's like we're in Percy's POV and I love how the chapter titles reflect that, if you guys get what I mean. But we're starting with chapter 1. My rescue operation goes very wrong. One thing that I love to do when I'm reading, especially at night or just like when I'm in like a cozy area and reading, is to have a playlist. So I have a Percy Jackson playlist. I didn't make it, but I found it and I think it's actually the most like playlist ever when you're reading Percy Jackson in general. It's like honestly, it's this one. And it has like these super cool songs, but I love to listen to music when I'm reading. And it's just like, it just puts me in the vibe, especially with like songs that are like similar to the theme of the book. I really love that. So I love having like one earphone in. I feel so aesthetic with wired earphones. And I love to read with music on. So I'm going to put some music on and read the first chapter. Okay, so we started chapter 1 off with Percy picking up Annabeth and Thalia and them all of them heading with Sally to Westover Hall. I love how already you can see Percy's humor and it's just like so funny like when Sally was telling like baby stories about like when Percy was younger. Percy's like he says that if my mom told one more story about how cute I looked in the bathtub when I was 3 years old, I was going to burrow into the snow and freeze myself to death. Like, that is so funny. Like, that's so funny, and that is, like, sarcastic, and that's per sassy. But also, they have described the characters and, like, how they look, and I'm so, like, locked into the show casting and how Walker and Leah look as Percy and Annabeth in the show, that every time they mention that Annabeth has gray eyes or Annabeth has blonde hair, I'm like that doesn't seem right. Like I'm not hating on the book characters, but I'm so locked into Leah as Annabeth and like Walker as Percy that even when I'm reading the books, like when I was rereading The Sea of Monsters, I was literally imagining them and like Charlie as Luke, Dior as Clarice, like I was literally imagining the show cast while I was reading the book, but that just means that they've done a fantastic job with the characters. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so they've reached Westover Hall, and Grover called them there because, like, he sent a distress call. I know that's because he found two demigods, Nico and Bianca. So I know that. I also love how we can see a bit of the jealousy between Percy and Thalia. Like, Percy's kind of jealous that Chiron taught Thalia, like, how to manipulate the mist, and because, she knew Chiron longer, and, like, she had more experience, if you get what I mean, and Percy didn't, and so he feels kind of jealous, and that's gonna really add on to their beef and, like, the conflict that they have in this book, which I'm really excited about. But moving on. Okay, so they just name dropped the two demigods that they found, Bianca and Nico D'Angelo. I know that. I didn't know, though, that Grover already knew that the vice principal was a monster. Like, I didn't remember that. But Grover already knows that the vice principal is Dr. Thorne. They are at the dance. Percy's again jealous of Thalia and the bond that she has with Grover and Annabeth, and we kind of did get to see that in the show. Like, I think at the ending of season 2, episode 7, when they're in the car and heading back to camp with Sally, Annabeth is talking about Thalia and how the fleas can bring her back, and Percy obviously having that dream that he had about Thalia and, like, her being Kronos. Like, he's scared about that, but he's also scared that, like, Annabeth and Grover might abandon him when Thalia comes back, and I do really think that they're going to lean into that whole Percy's insecurities and, like, the fact that Annabeth and Grover know Thalia longer than they know Percy. They're really going to lean into that in the show, but also season 3, that's coming this year. I'm really excited to see their dynamic, especially Percy and Thalia. Moving on, though. Okay, check in. They noticed that Dr. Thorne was, like, getting closer to the D'Angelos. Annabeth is happy that Thalia is back, and that's making Percy angry, but also, like, insecure, as I said. They are slow dancing. The exact quote. "Dance, you guys," Thalia ordered. "You look stupid just standing there." I looked nervously at Annabeth, then at the groups of girls who were roaming the gym. "Well," Annabeth said. Who should I ask?" She punched me in the gut. "Me, seaweed brain." Oh, right. Look, if I was reading this book before I watched season 2, episode 8, I would have a very hard time envisioning this, but the fact that we got a teaser of the dance at Westover Hall at the ending of season 2, episode 8, and I actually have a proper envisioning and a proper picture in my mind of how this scene is going to play out and how the scene is going to look in the show is actually insane. And Percy also mentioned in this book how Annabeth has grown taller than him over the summer. Obviously, in the show, that's not the case. There's a big height difference between Percy and Annabeth. Like, Leah is way shorter than Walker. And I love the change that they made in the show of not Percy asking Annabeth, but Annabeth, like, building up the courage to ask Percy. And we saw that in the teaser. And oh my god, guys. Guys, I'm not even joking when I say this. I will literally be such a giggling mess when this scene comes on my screen. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm gonna, like, giggle, laugh, scream, freak out, and go through every single emotion possible at the Westover Hall dance scene. I'm sorry. That's just who I am. I am actually so excited to see this scene play out. Like, oh my god, I can't. Back to reading though. Okay, we officially finished chapter 1. A lot happened in this chapter. Last we left off with like Percy and Annabeth slow dancing. Grover and Thalia were still like gone. Percy decided he's gonna take matters into his own hands, and so he went after Dr. Thorne, Annabeth as well. The D'Angelos are like very scared, and I'm just gonna say one thing, guys. I'm just gonna say one thing. The minute or like the second I see Nico and Bianca D'Angelo on my screen, tears. Absolute tears. No, because like their story, if you read like books 4 and 5, it's actually so heartbreaking. They were abandoned as children. Hades didn't care about them. They were all alone. Bianca was with Nico. She had to act like the adult, so she never had a childhood. It's like so devastating, and the fact that we're gonna see them in like live action is actually heartbreaking with like what's gonna happen. But I am really excited to see them. And basically now chapter 2 is the vice principal gets a missile launcher. Interesting. Okay, let's read. Okay, chapter 2 starts off with them following Dr. Thorne, outside of Westover Hall, the school. Percy is desperately trying to contact Grover because Thalia is with him and he needs them both. And it's so funny. Percy talks about like how he and Grover had an empathy link in Sea of Monsters, and he mentioned that I projected my thoughts like crazy, anything to get Grover's attention. Grover, apples, tin cans, get your furry goat behind out here and bring some heavily armed friends. This is so Percy. Like, that is so Percy, and I really hope that they keep this in the show. It's just for sassy, guys. Like, I love Percy's character so much. He's so funny. But basically, they reach the cliff, the infamous cliff, and they're figuring out how to fight Thorne. Bianca is surprisingly brave. I didn't remember like much of her character, but I didn't think that she was brave. Like, I thought that she'd be scared or like that she was scared, but she's actually showing quite a lot of bravery in this specific part in the book. Nico is incredibly tiny. Levi, who plays Nico in the show, is also tiny, and he is only like 10 in the book, but Levi is 14. But guys, Nico is such a tiny baby. Like, I feel so maternal over him. It's crazy. But they are fighting Thorne. Percy thinks that, there's a sea. What if I just jump in with Nico and Bianca? I can put a water bubble around them. Son of Poseidon, I can do that. And apparently Thorne can read Percy's thoughts, which is really interesting because I didn't remember that happening, or I didn't even know that monsters could do that. I'm really, really interested now. I'm like really intrigued. Tears are already starting to form, guys. I can't do this. It's only chapter 2. Unfortunately, Thorne said, you were wanted alive, if possible, otherwise you would already be dead. Who wants us? Bianca demanded. Because if you think you'll get a ransom, you're wrong. We don't have any family. Nico and I, her voice broke a little, we've got no one but each other. Cut the cameras. Cut it. I'm so done already. I can't. No, because like Nico and Bianca, they break me. Like, I can't. Their story is just so heartbreaking. They're kids who were left alone. and had no one to fend for them. I can't do this, guys. I can't do this. I'm already dreading reading. But let's read. Percy figured out that Dr. Thorne works for Luke. There's also a general involved. I'm not sure who the general is. I'm thinking it's Atlas, but I'm not sure. Percy's really considering jumping off that cliff with Nico and Bianca to protect them. Bianca thinks that he's nuts, and this is actually so funny, guys. Okay, Bianca whispered to me, he's completely nuts. We have to jump off the cliff, I told her quietly, into the sea. Oh, super idea. You're completely nuts too. Like, the beef, the banter, everyone is like beefing in this book. I love it so much. And then we have the reveal that Annabeth used her hat of invisibility like to fight Dr. Thorne, which is actually so genius and so like she's so wise. I love her. Okay, we're gonna continue reading now. Okay, so Grover and Thalia also made it. Grover is using like his panpipes and like the powers that he has, and Thalia is using Aegis. And I just recently read the Demigod Diaries, and it contains the diary of Luke Castellan, and I actually found out how Thalia got Aegis in the first place, and this is actually so interesting. But guys, the diary of Luke Castellan is actually so devastating. Like, I made so many annotations, but there's so much potential from that book for season 3. I'm actually so excited. But they're fighting Dr. Thorne, and the hunters just arrived. And I'm just saying one thing. When Zoe Nightshade appears on my screen this December, I am gonna lose it. Zoe Nightshade is played by Sarah Chaudhry, and she's Daisy, like me. Representation. And I am actually so excited to see Sarah as Zoe because we got to see like first look pictures of Sarah as Zoe while they were filming, and I'm not kidding when I say this. They shook the Titan's Curse, and Sarah as Zoe Nightshade fell out. I'm so excited to see Zoe Nightshade and the Hunters of Artemis, guys. Like, Titan's Curse is the girls' season. I am so excited. Anyways, the Hunters have come. Thalia is very, she doesn't approve. She's like not happy that they're there. Obviously, I know that she has history with Zoe, so I know that. And Artemis is here as well. Guys, it's starting to get so good. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading now. Check in, Annabeth just fell off the damn cliff. She just fell off the cliff on the back of the Manticore. Percy screamed Annabeth. Percy is obviously devastated. The hunters had to literally hold Percy down. This scene has a completely different meaning and like a different, like how I would envision it now after seeing season 2, episode 6 of the show. In Polyphemus's cave, when Annabeth gets injured, Percy, Grover, and Clarice are locked inside the cave. And they can't help Annabeth, and Percy screams, no, no, twice. And he's screaming Annabeth. And we got Don't Touch Her as well. 3 books early, which, hey, crazy. But I can already imagine and envision how this scene's gonna play out, and I can already kind of think about Walker's acting and how it's gonna be. Like, that was actually a devastating scene. Every single time I see that scene, or every single time I hear that audio, tears form in my eyes, guys. Like, tears form in my eyes. Like, Annabeth is in danger, and Percy is scared, and Percy feels bad that he can't save her. I can't. But we're gonna continue reading, guys. We're gonna continue reading. This is such a good quote, and this is exactly why Artemis is my favorite goddess. Zoe stepped forward as if to smack me. No, the other girl ordered. I sense no disrespect, Zoe. He's simply distraught. He does not understand. The young girl looked at me, her eyes colder and brighter than the winter moon. I am Artemis, she said, goddess of the hunt. I love how Artemis sensed that Percy is no danger, and Percy screaming and like Percy being like stressed and everything is not him being a danger. It's simply that he is distraught, he's worried, and he's just lost his friend. And I love that she says that. And like she's literally the least deadbeat of the gods. And she's just such an icon. And I love Artemis so much because she's so understanding. But we're on chapter 3. Bianca D'Angelo makes a choice. Let's read. So we start off this chapter with the aftermath of Annabeth falling off the cliff, Dr. Thorne taking her, and I don't hate Grover, but I really don't like the character of Grover in the books. Like, I love how he's funny and like how he's unserious, but I don't like how specifically in this book, already in the first 3 chapters, I can tell that Grover doesn't really care much about Annabeth being missing. And like with all the history that Grover and Annabeth have, with him being her protector first and like him being Thalia and Luke's protector with Annabeth, like with all that history, having Grover not care much about his closest friend and like almost a family member missing in this book just never made sense to me. And I love how they've changed the entire character of Grover in the show. I love Arian's take on Grover. I love how Grover is more empathetic, he still has humor, but I love how he's more empathetic, more intelligent, but also like he cares about people and like he gets serious when it's time to get serious. And in the book you don't really see that. So I love how they've changed that in the show, and I really hope that in season 3 we get to see more of, we see Percy freaking out about Annabeth being missing and like Thalia freaking out about Annabeth being missing. But I love how we in the show will also get to see how Annabeth being missing impacts Grover and how it makes him feel since he is her protector. So I'm really excited to see that in the show. But Bianca also explains that, Nico and her have no family. Breaks my heart. How they have been orphans since they were little. And it's revealed to them that they are demigods and that monsters were chasing them before, and that Dr. Thorne was a manticore who was supposed to kidnap them and all of that. So it's basically revealed to Nico and Bianca that they're demigods. And Artemis mentions that she will go look for Annabeth. Zoe does not care, which I don't like. Like, I love Zoe, but I don't like the fact that she doesn't care that Annabeth is missing. Like, obviously Zoe doesn't know Annabeth, but she seems very like self-invested and just like very like, I have to listen to Artemis and what she says, and she doesn't really like show any emotion or like seems to care that a girl has just fallen off a cliff. And I don't like that, guys. I don't like that. Percy feels very guilty about Annabeth having fallen off the cliff and Annabeth being missing, and he partly feels like it's his fault, which is actually heartbreaking because it's not his fault at all. Thalia also feels really bad about the fact that Annabeth is missing and that Annabeth is in danger. I do want to mention this though, especially with like season 2 of the show that's already out. Percy says, 7 years ago, Thalia had been turned into a pine tree by her father to prevent her from dying. She'd stood her ground against an army of monsters on top of Half-Blood Hill in order to give her friends Luke and Annabeth time to escape. I am very excited to see how they have changed Thalia's character and how they've adjusted her character with the entire plot twist of season 2, episode 8. If you don't want spoilers for the show, I would say skip forward a few minutes because I will spoil season 2, episode 8 and that ending. But season 2, episode 8 basically revealed to us that Zeus did not turn Thalia into a pine tree as an act of mercy. He turned Thalia into a pine tree as an act of her not listening to him. So as a punishment, Zeus basically, the reason that Thalia was born is because she was born as a weapon. She was the child of the great prophecy in Zeus's eyes, and the Furies that attacked Thalia, Luke, and Annabeth at camp that day didn't actually attack. They just went to Thalia to tell her about this, and Zeus found out about that, and so he killed the Furies, but then he confronted Thalia, and Thalia confronted him, and basically, Zeus is saying that, you're a child of Zeus, you're getting 16, you're becoming a dangerous age, you have to be a weapon, you have to be the child of the prophecy, and Thalia says that, I don't want to be your daughter, and I will never be your weapon. And at the ending of when Thalia says weapon, Zeus strikes lightning and changes Thalia's form into a pine tree. So we have that entire plot twist, and I really love how they did that because now Thalia does have a very, very valid reason to go against the gods and like to hate Zeus. And that's going to change her character in the Titan's Curse. And I'm really, really excited to see that in season 3 and how it's going to impact the story. But yeah, moving on. Okay, wait. I love this line, and I'm gonna be so upset if they do not add this in the show. If Annabeth's mother was Athena, the goddess of wisdom, then why didn't Annabeth know better than to fall off a cliff? I tried not to strangle Nico for asking that one. Here's my thing. Nico is really funny, and Percy crashing out is really funny but devastating at the same time. Show Percy is built different. Book Percy is like, yeah, okay, he's a maniac, and like he will do anything to save his friends, and like his fate follows loyalty. Like, yeah, we know that. Show Percy is built different. Show Percy is built very different. Okay, so they are like camping somewhere, and Artemis asked Percy about like what Dr. Thorne told him, and he told like that, Dr. Thorne was talking about the Great Stirring and that there's like this creature that can bring down Olympus. I don't really know what creature it could be. I'm thinking maybe Bessie the Ophiuchorus, but I could be wrong. It's been a while, as I said. But there's also talk of Bianca considering joining the Hunters. I know that eventually Bianca does become a hunter. I know that because it's like a big thing. But there's like a lot of hatred ever since the book came out about Bianca being a selfish sister and like Bianca joining the Hunters and like leaving Nico behind and like how that makes her a bad character. I feel like I don't agree with that at all because if you think about it, you have to look at it from two sides. You have to think about the fact that, yeah, Nico is a little brother, Nico is a child, and he needs someone to protect him and all of that. But then you also have to think about the fact that they were both so young when they were abandoned and when they became orphans. And you have to think about the fact that Bianca had to grow up too early and she never had a childhood. And so she had to become like the parent figure or the paternal figure for Nico. And she had to take care of her little brother, Nico. And so she never had a childhood and she couldn't do anything for herself. And she had to like protect Nico and her at such a young age. And so if you think about it, yeah, Bianca is leaving Nico in a way to join the Hunters. But then you also have to think about the fact that Bianca probably thought about this, and she probably thought about the fact that Nico will be safe at camp under Chiron's supervision and everything. And you have to think about the fact that after years of having to protect Nico and like having to grow up and not have a childhood, Bianca is finally doing something that she wants and something that makes her happy, if you get what I mean. Like she's finally doing something that is going to benefit her, or like something that is helping her discover who she is as a person and what her personality is like and who she wants to be. And that, in this case, is being a huntress, to pledge to Artemis to never be in the presence of men again and to like be eternal and be immortal. That is what she wants. And if that's what she wants, so be it. She never had a childhood. She never got to do what she wanted. So let this be the moment that she does that. Like, I kind of feel like if you're talking about this specific scene and this specific situation and this decision on Bianca's side, you have to look at it from both sides. You have to look at it from Bianca's side only. You have to look at it from Bianca and Nico's side, like both of their sides when they were little and like in the past, what they went through. And you have to look at it from Nico's side as well of that, Nico trusts his sister and he trusts that what she does is like for his own good or like for her own good. So you have to think about it that way and then form an opinion about it. But that's just like my thing. I don't know if this is controversial, but that's just how I feel about it. But yeah, let's continue reading. See, Bianca even says that a new family, Bianca repeated dreamily, free of responsibility. You have to think about the fact that she had to carry such a huge responsibility taking care of Nico and herself at such a young age, and now she's finally free. Nico is safe at camp, and so that doesn't worry her. She's like, oh, Nico's safe at camp. Chiron is like protecting him, like he's under Chiron's supervision. He's gonna be safe at camp. So she already has that thing that, oh, my brother is safe, and if I do become a hunter, nothing is gonna harm him. And so she has that reassurance and she has that assurance, and that's why she's so happy that she can finally do something that doesn't require such a big responsibility. Like, think about it in that way. Think about it from her perspective. Oh, okay. So we finished chapter 3, and we are gonna meet Apollo in chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called Thalia Torches New England. Very excited about this chapter. Okay, so Apollo just appeared with the Sun Chariot, which I am very excited to see how that looks in the show and like in live action. I'm really excited to see how they built that Sun Chariot. This line is actually so funny though. Wow, Thalia muttered. Apollo is hot. He's a sun god, I said. That's not what I meant. This is actually so funny because recently there's a cast picture released of Hubert Smolecki who plays Apollo, and then like on one side of him it was Charlie who plays Luke, and then on the other side it was Tamara who plays Thalia. And I made a meme joke. I thought it was very funny. I'm gonna insert a picture here where I said that Luke is her ex situationship and Apollo is her current crush, and I said this thing of like I use the same dialogue of Apollo is so hot as like what Thalia says, and then for Luke I said, wait, what did you say? Guys, it might sound lame, it might not sound funny, but it's funny to me, okay? I thought that was so funny because it's like you have your ex situationship and then you have your current crush, and then you say something like this. Like, what the heck? I thought it was so funny, but look at it, it's basking all its glory, my beautiful meme. Anyways, back to reading. This is actually so funny. No problem, Apollo checked us out. Let's see. Thalia, right? I've heard all about you. Thalia blushed. Hi, Lord Apollo. It's so funny. Like you would never ever expect someone like Thalia, who's a daughter of Zeus and who has the most punk vibe ever, to have a crush on Apollo. Like you would never expect that. This is so unnatural, but it's so funny at the same time. Okay, so Zoe does not like Apollo, but I can't blame her because she's like the D1 man hater. She does not like Apollo. She's very, very, very loyal to Artemis. Artemis doesn't like the fact that Apollo is even interacting with the hunters since they swore off men. So that's gonna be so fun to see in the show, guys. Okay, so we just finished chapter 4. Chapter 4 was a wild ride. So Apollo came, he's taking Percy, Thalia, Grover, Nico, and Bianca, and Zoe and the hunters to camp. Thalia was given the responsibility of driving the Sun Chariot, and this is actually so funny because even though she's the daughter of the Lord of the Skies, she's the daughter of Zeus, you would expect her to know how to drive, but she doesn't, and everything goes out of control. She's so nervous, and honestly, like reading this is the first time I've ever seen Thalia like this nervous. She's always like so confident and so like she always knows what she's doing. And now she was so lost and she was so nervous while driving the sun chariot. And like I really hope they show this in the show because it's like so funny. It's really funny and it's really ironic as well. But basically, she was driving, Apollo was stressing, Nico was stressing, Percy was stressing. It was a whole mess. Eventually, they did get to Camp Half Blood. However, they crashed into the lake at Camp Half Blood, and then we start off chapter 5 with I place an underwater phone call. This is interesting. Okay, so they've reached camp, and the hunters are like setting up in cabin 8 because that's Artemis's cabin. Nico is like roaming around with Grover. Grover is showing Nico around. Percy and Thalia are talking to Chiron and Dionysus. Dionysus does not care about Annabeth. Dionysus doesn't care about anyone. Like, Mr. D doesn't care about anyone. And he can't even pronounce Annabeth's name, and that pisses me off so much. But then I remember the fact that Mr. D doesn't really learn the campers' names so that he doesn't get too attached to them, which is very valid. But anyways, they're talking about everything, and Percy really wants to go and look for Annabeth, and he really wants to like go on a quest to look for Annabeth, and Thalia wants to go as well because obviously like that's her little sister. And it's just like it's an entire mess. Like they're talking about Annabeth. Mr. D thinks that Annabeth is like Chiron doesn't believe that. Chiron is like, if Luke has her, then Annabeth will probably do something that will buy her time, which obviously she does. But like they're just discussing on like how to save Annabeth and all of that. But then in the ending, they just like start talking about capture the flag and all of that, and how it's tradition and all of that. And this is gonna be such a good scene in the show, guys. Capture the flag is gonna be so good, especially with Thalia being back. The showdown between Percy and Thalia, give it to me right now. It's gonna be so good. Anyways, yeah, basically that's what happened. Okay, so chapter 5 is literally chapter 5 or chapter 4? Chapter 5 is literally Percy crashing out and like really worrying a lot about Annabeth being missing, and then like he wants to do whatever it takes to find her. Thalia is also really worried about Annabeth. They're gonna play capture the flag now. Percy and Thalia have agreed to team up, which is actually, I didn't remember that at all. I didn't know that they would team up. I thought they would be in opposing teams. But they're teaming up, which is very unusual since they don't really like each other. Thalia also mentions why she snapped at Percy like in chapter 1 when he asked her about her mom, and like she revealed that 8 years ago when she went to visit her mom, she found out that she became an alcoholic and that she died in a car crash. And I really hope that the show explores this, but I don't know if they will. But I hope that this is in the show because it's like it's giving backstory on Thalia, and it's also really relevant for Heroes of Olympus, for Lost Heroes specifically, but I'm not gonna get into that. But I hope that the show explains this reason. Thalia is also having a lot of trouble already in the first few chapters with accepting the fact that Annabeth is missing, but also the fact that Luke is not Luke. Luke has betrayed them, and Luke is on Cronus' side. He's on the enemy's side, and she's having a lot of trouble like accepting that. And I really am excited, and I really hope that we get to see her struggle with accepting that like fact in the show. Yeah, so then it's also revealed that Clarice has been sent on a secret quest. Obviously, we all know, like I know, I've read book 4 and 5. She's been sent on a quest to the labyrinth. That's revealed only in book 4. Guys, Tyson is back. I love Tyson so much. Daniel Deemer as Tyson stole my heart in season 2. That is Tyson. Like, that is the perfect casting ever for Tyson, and he played Tyson so well. Tyson is back. Oh my god, I missed him so much. But Percy is in the Poseidon cabin and he is iris messaging Tyson. Tyson is in the forges, by the way. We know that at the ending of book 2 that he went to the underwater forges at like Poseidon's castle. But Tyson is so cute, guys. He's so cute, and I can't wait to see him in season 3. Why am I tearing up? I'm literally tearing up. You can't see, but I'm literally tearing up. So it's revealed that the old like sea spirits are apparently protecting the Princess Andromeda, which is Luke's boat, so that Poseidon can't like destroy it. Tyson asks Percy if Annabeth is there, and Percy says that, Tyson thinks that Annabeth is the coolest thing ever. And that actually breaks my heart because what do you mean? They went from hating each other, or Annabeth went from like hating Tyson to like becoming close with Tyson. Like, guys, I can't. Annabeth being missing is affecting so many people, and that just shows how much of a main character Annabeth is. Like, I can't, guys. I can't. I'm gonna continue reading though. Guys, I finished chapter 5. I'm not doing well. I am not doing well at the ending of chapter 5. Percy just had his first dream about Annabeth and her whereabouts. Oh god, I'm literally gonna cry. I'm literally gonna start sobbing. He just had his first dream about Annabeth in danger. It's revealed that Annabeth is with Dr. Thorne. Luke is there. Luke was holding up the sky. He was pleading Annabeth to take the sky from him. Percy obviously is like, don't take it. We can't trust him. Luke had tried to kill us in cold blood many times. Don't trust him. But obviously Annabeth, still believing that she can fix Luke somehow, believes him, and she helps Luke, and then Luke tricks her into holding up the sky. I will never get over the broken family dynamic between Annabeth, Luke, and Thalia. I will never get over the fact that if Luke had never rebelled, their story would have been different. I just can't. And also just Thaw Luke in general, I just can't, guys. I can't. Like, Leah mentioned how Annabeth holding up the sky took a big emotional toll on Leah herself and also Charlie, and how they had to like check up on each other while filming. And she also mentioned how the makeup and the costuming that they did for that scene is also like really intense. I'm actually gonna cry. If I think about Luke and Annabeth and Thalia, but specifically the dynamic between Luke and Annabeth, I think about the song Family Line by Conan Gray and The Exit by Conan Gray. Actually, those two songs by Conan Gray are like such a good definition of Luke and Annabeth's dynamic in book 3. I don't know if I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel, and that's also one of the songs in the playlist, because that is literally like, she's a child. She's a child, and you're a grown-ass, like, 21-year-old demigod, like, and you're tricking your oldest friend, but also like who was like a sister to you, into holding up the sky. You guilt trip her, and then you trick her into holding up the sky. Like, I have no words. I have no words. But moving on, chapter 6 is called An Old Dead Friend Comes to Visit. I actually have no clue what this chapter could be about. Let's read though. The old dead friend is the Oracle. But why? It's not a friend. So, like, what? Okay, that's confusing. But basically, Percy told Grover about the dream that he had about Annabeth being in danger and about like Luke tricking Annabeth into holding up the sky and that, Annabeth is what with like Dr. Thorne and everything. And then Grover told Percy about the fact that Zoe had a similar dream, but instead of Annabeth, it's like she saw that Artemis is in danger. Um, then whatever goes on, then apparently Grover shows Percy a pamphlet that he found in Annabeth's backpack, and it's the Hunter's pamphlet. And Percy, obviously, his fatal flaw is loyalty, and like he doesn't take the news well. He doesn't. He says specifically, and I quote, I'd like to say I took the news well. The truth was, I wanted to strangle the hunters of Artemis one eternal maiden at a time. The rest of the day, I tried to keep busy, but I was worried sick about Annabeth. As I've said before, book 3 is literally just angsty Percy and Percy crashing out about the fact that Annabeth is missing. And he is so distraught and so worried that he literally almost kills an Aries camper when in javelin throwing class he almost gets into a fight with someone and stuff is going on. And then eventually Percy decides to confront the Oracle, which is the dead friend. Interesting. I'm going to continue reading. Okay, so they're starting Capture the Flag, which is so exciting because I love the camp sequences and like when they're at camp because it's like so nostalgic. But I love how Nico is like he's geeking out about everything and he's like so interested in the demigod world. And it's just like such a reflection of how Percy was in The Lightning Thief when he first came to camp. And I love it so much, guys. I love it. But I also love how after Percy found the Hunter's pamphlet in Annabeth's backpack, or like after Grover gave that to him, he is literally focused on getting revenge on the Hunters of Artemis. Like he is determined to like defeat them in capture the flag, which is like, guys, this is so funny. I love this. Okay, so long story short, the hunters ended up winning Capture the Flag. Percy's obviously very angry because he wanted to get revenge on them for making Annabeth consider joining the hunters. Thalia is very angry too because she's like very competitive. This is actually so funny. And then like obviously because she's like angry, her rage and like her powers get out of control and she accidentally zaps Percy and pushes him into the lake at like camp. And Percy's obviously like pissed with everything that's going on and with Annabeth being missing. He doesn't like take it as like, it was an accident on Thalia's side, and so he puts like an entire wave on Thalia. This is gonna be so fun in the show. Oh, and then Thalia makes a mistake of calling him Seaweed Brain. Like, no, girl, you can't call him that. Only Annabeth can. And then Pinecone Face, their beef is so funny because it's like at the beginning, they don't really get along. Annabeth goes missing and they're like fighting. Then in like chapter like 5 or something, they're like, they have a mutual understanding of like what each one of them is going through and like they're like kind of friends, and then now they're like complete enemies and like fighting each other to the point that Chiron had to literally split them up. Eek. See, this is one thing I'm not looking forward to seeing in the show in live action. The Oracle moving from the first time from the attic and coming to the place where Capture the Flag is taking place. Like, I don't want to see that Oracle move The Oracle is a freaking mummy. That is scary as hell. I don't want to see that thing move. I don't. Okay, so the Oracle is there and she asks Zoe to approach her because Zoe had like a dream and she wants to know what she can do. And this is exactly what the Oracle says. 5 shall go west to the goddess in chains, being Artemis, I think. 1 shall be lost in the land without rain. The bane of Olympus shows the trail. Campers and hunters combined prevail. The Titan's curse must one withstand, and 1 shall perish by a parent's hand. That's a hell of a prophecy. But guys, we read 6 chapters successfully. Come back for day 2, where we read chapter 7. Everybody hates me but the horse. Oh, I think this is Blackjack's chapter. I love Blackjack so much. But we finished 6 chapters. Honestly, it took me a little longer than I expected. Like, they're pretty long chapters, I guess. But this book is so fun. I love the entire Percy Jackson series so much. And this is like, it's so funny because you have Percy and Thalia beefing. You have Thalia's like one-sided beef with Zoe and also like actually two-sided beef with Zoe. You have Nico just like being completely like random character and like geeking out about everything. And then you have Bianca joining the Hunters, and then you have Grover and Artemis. Like you have so many new characters. It's so fun, honestly. But I'm gonna be reading chapter 7, day 2. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys on day 2. Hey guys, welcome back to day 2 of the reading vlog. Today we're going to continue reading the Titan's Curse. We're going to read from chapter 7 onwards, and yeah, let's get into it. So chapter 7 is called Everybody Hates Me But the Horse, and I think this is a Blackjack chapter. I really like Blackjack. I have like 2 favorite like pets in the whole PGO universe. Mrs. O'Leary, who is only in book 4, and Blackjack for this book. And we also got to see Blackjack in season 2 of the Disney Plus show, which I was so happy about. I was literally screaming because I love Blackjack so much. But yeah, I'm gonna start reading. Okay guys, I just finished chapter 7. A lot happened in chapter 7. Quick run through. Percy is still freaking out about Annabeth being missing, obviously. Blackjack visits Percy, and oh my god, I love Blackjack so much, guys. I can't wait to see him like actually speak or like him interact with Percy more in the show for season 3. They chose like the people who are going on the quest. It ended up being Zoe, Thalia, Bianca, and Grover, and I think one of the hunters. But yeah, then Percy also sent an Iris message to Sally, and he got to meet Paul for the first time. We got to see, not like talk, but see Paul in the Iris message. Wise words from Sally that she knows that whatever Percy is thinking, he has good reason behind it, and she knows that, you know, whatever he'll do is good for Annabeth because she would do the same for him, which, hey, Sally Jackson, the wisest person ever. We love her. Yeah, so basically they left on the quest. Percy isn't allowed, obviously, because, you know, he's a boy, and Zoe, she's a hunter, so she can't come into close proximity with a boy, and she doesn't want to. So that's why Percy wasn't voted, like, he wasn't chosen to go on the quest with Zoe and the others. So chapter 8 is called I Make a Dangerous Promise. I actually have no clue what this chapter could be about, so I'm excited to read this one. Basically, Percy and Blackjack are planning to leave camp. They haven't left camp at the end of chapter 7, but they're still at camp trying to find a way to sneak out without getting noticed. And basically, while they're doing that, Percy noticed Nico like spying on the others, and so he went to Nico, and then he saw that one of the hunters who was supposed to go with Zoe and the others on the quest got poisoned through like a poison t-shirt. It was like a prank, I think, by Connor or like Travis Stoll, the Stoll brothers, and now they're discussing like who's gonna go on the quest, or like yeah, what they're gonna do. So I'm gonna continue reading. Oh my god, guys, this like entire page is already so heartbreaking. Nico is talking to Percy, and like Percy's saying that, you know, I saw you spying on the others, and Nico's like, I need you to go on the quest. Nico is very worried about Bianca. I can't do this. And basically he says, I won't tell on you, he said, but you have to promise to keep my sister safe. Already that being like one of the lines, and then knowing what happens at the ending of the book, and Percy having to confront Nico about that is actually, it's gonna break my heart seeing it in live action because Nico is like 3 apples tall. He is so tiny. He's a child. That is a child. Like, oh my god, it's gonna hit hard. Okay, so we finished chapter 8. I'm going by chapters quick. But chapter 8 basically, Percy was trying to sneak out of camp without being unnoticed, as I said. He had a chat with Nico that I just talked about, and basically we end chapter 8 with Percy leaving camp on blackjack, and they're in the sky, and they're following the others on the quest. Chapter 9 is called I Learned How to Grow Zombies. What the heck? That's actually a really odd chapter title. I don't know what's going to happen in this chapter. And that just tells you how much of this reread is necessary, that this is very necessary. But I'm going to read chapter 9 now. I Learned How to Grow Zombies. Interesting. Okay, wait, quick check-in. The one thing that I really love about Blackjack is his internal monologue. And I was actually talking with a friend about this, but we know that there's no like voice actor for Blackjack in the show. So I really hope we have like this Han Solo Chewbacca thing and like something that's similar to what happened in season 2, episode 5 with the guinea pigs. Blackbeard was a guinea pig. We got to see like subtitles of his internal monologue. I hope they do the same with Blackjack because genuinely, Blackjack is such an interesting but also such a funny and sassy character because of his internal monologue and the way he speaks. So I really hope that they like keep that in the show. But yeah, let's see. Okay, I love this chapter already because Zoe and Thalia are beefing. The girls are going at it. And Grover is trying to keep peace. I really hope that this happens. Whenever Thalia and Zoe are beefing, or like Thalia and Percy are beefing, I hope we get to see a scene of Grover just like in the background being stressed and singing the consensus song like over and over again to try to like create like calmness and to try to resolve the issue. Like I would love to see that because I already have like imagining in my head of Grover stressing out and like being like, oh golly, the road's getting bumpy. I would love that so much. It's gonna be so funny, guys, if they actually like did that. I would love that. Oh, wait. How could I be so stupid? The general is Atlas. And Atlas knows the girl with the silver circlet because that's Zoe. Guys, what am I doing? Why did I not remember this? See, this is why I need to reread. But okay, Percy saw Luke. Percy described Luke as being older and like having more like gray hair. And I love that detail because later on in the books, I know that Luke also holds up the sky, or like he has also held up the sky, so he has like a gray streak. And Charlie did kind of confirm in an interview that Luke does look visibly older in season 3, so I definitely do think that they have gray hair for Luke, or like streaks of gray hair for Luke in season 3, which I'm definitely sure that they did. But the general is Atlas, and then you have Dr. Thorne, and oh my god, we're in the Smithsonian as well. This is interesting. Okay, I just finished chapter 9. Chapter 9 is the Smithsonian chapter. Percy and Blackjack reach the Smithsonian. Zoe, Grover, Thalia, and Bianca are already there. And they're not inside the Smithsonian yet. Percy is, though, and he sees Luke, the general, and Dr. Thorne. He has this whole sense that, Annabeth is alive because, if Dr. Thorne survived that fall off the cliff, then Annabeth would have survived it as well, and she's being held a prisoner. Luke is there, as I said, and Luke is kind of like the leader. He's still being very much manipulated by Kronos. The general is there, and he does not like the fact that Zoe's on this quest, and he doesn't like Luke mentioning Zoe because, like, I know because I've read the book before that Zoe is his daughter. And yeah, there's a lot going on. Percy is using Annabeth's hat of invisibility to stay invisible and like see their plan. Skeleton soldiers have risen from the dead apparently, and they are like getting ready to fight Zoe and the others, but Zoe and the others don't know that they're coming. So Percy just left at the ending of chapter 9 um to go and warn them, but before that, someone noticed that someone is using like this cloak or like this covering up, and Luke knows it's Percy, so Percy escaped in time. But chapter 10 is called I Break a Few Rocket Ships. Okay, so this is definitely still inside the Smithsonian, but I think this is the entire fight, including Zoe, Thalia, Grover, and Bianca, and Percy now, since he's on the quest. This is actually so interesting, and I'm so excited to see this in live action. Luke, I said, trying to catch my breath, he's here. The anger in Thalia's eyes immediately melted. She put her hand on her silver bracelet. Where? I am very excited, but also very anxious to see the aftermath of Thalia finding out that Luke betrayed them and how she's handling it and like their history and like how it's affecting her. Because like she's very angry. Thalia is like angry. She doesn't even like care anymore. She is scared of Luke, and that's why the minute that Percy said that Luke is here, Thalia put her hand on Aegis, which is a silver bracelet. And that's the ending of chapter 10, I think. Yeah, chapter 10. Skeleton warriors are facing them, or like are chasing them now. They defeated the Nemean lion. Zoe knows that the skeleton warriors are coming and she's warning them. Percy knows that they're coming for him since they noticed him and like since they knew that he was the invisible one before he escaped. But now Zoe has accepted that Percy is the 5th quest member, so he's officially on the quest. Now we are on chapter 11. Grover gets a Lamborghini. Chapter 11. Grover gets a Lamborghini. I actually don't know what's gonna happen in this chapter. I'm so excited. Oh, it finally hit Percy. The reason why Thalia does not get along with the hunters is because the hunters tried to recruit Thalia and Thalia probably declined. And that's why Thalia is beefing with Zoe, and that's why they have beef. Oh my god! I completely forgot about this. But Thalia declined because when she was approached by the hunters, she was with Annabeth and Luke, and that was like in the past when they were like on their run, and obviously she couldn't leave them because that was like her family at that time, and so she declined because if she would have joined the hunters, she would have had to leave Luke, and thought Luke was a thing back then. So that breaks my heart that she declined the hunters, and then in the end, Luke just was evil. I can't, guys, I can't. Oh my god! They took a train from the Smithsonian, they came to DC, or like they went somewhere and they found a homeless guy and he had a Lamborghini, and so they were staying in that Lamborghini so that they can get to where they have to go, and the homeless guy ends up being Apollo? What? What? Wait, what? Oh my god, I didn't know that. Okay, they're on a train now apparently, but Apollo is still with them. Apollo apparently kind of has a faint idea of the monster that Artemis was chasing, and he tells Percy to confront Nereus, the old sea god. And there was filming leaks of Walker filming this scene, and people who were like fans because they're filming like in a public place saw the actor for Nereus and described him as like this old like black Hispanic man. And I'm very excited to see this scene. And apparently, Percy gets to ask Nereus one question in his heart. He wants to ask about Annabeth and like what happened to her and like how he can save Annabeth. But he knows that the right thing to do is ask about what monster Artemis was chasing, because he only has one question and he can't like waste it on something unimportant. I completely forgot about this scene. Like when they told like everyone that they were filming the Nereus scene, I was like, what? what Nereus scene? Is that even in this book? That's why a reread is necessary, guys. But okay, I'm very excited to see Nereus in the show. Because it's like the first like old sea god that we see. Percy just had his first dream about Zoe Nightshade and her past, and he found out that Atlas is Zoe's father. He found out that Zoe had to like her sisters like betrayed her or something, and Zoe gave Percy Anaklusmos. Wow, guys. Zoe's mother was Pleione, and she's the daughter of the ocean. This is news. I did not know this. Wow, chapter 11 was wild. And we are on chapter 12. I go snowboarding with a pig. These chapter titles are so unserious, but they also don't give away a lot, which I'm happy about because I genuinely, for the past 4 chapters, I have no clue what could possibly happen in this chapter. But I'm going to continue reading and I'll check back in. Yeah, I love this quote. I remembered the general gloating over Annabeth's fate. I remembered the way Luke had betrayed her. And I charged. Walker is gonna eat this scene up so bad. Like, this is truly like crazy Percy. This is truly like, oh, Percy needs to save Annabeth, Percy, you know? Like, Walker mentioned in an article for season 2 when he gave like hints about season 3 because like they're filming and they're doing press for season 2, and he mentioned how everyone in season 3 is like fighting ruthlessly and doing whatever they can because they have to get to Annabeth and Artemis to save them, and so they are fighting and doing whatever they can to make that happen. And that's just like, it shows how they're not being like safe with what they're doing anymore, and they're like being ruthless, if you get what I mean. And I'm really, really excited to see this scene because first of all, I'm really excited to see the skeletons and like how they look. And I'm also really excited to see the whole fight because they also teased that season 3 is very like brutal, but in a good way, because the fighting is like stepped up by like 10 notches or something. So I'm really excited for this scene. Oh my god, okay, so I just finished chapter 12. They're apparently feeling the presence of Pan, the nature god. They are using the boar as a transport to get to wherever they have to go. They're fighting the boar. Percy found out that Thalia is afraid of heights. Zoe and Grover are getting along surprisingly well, which I wasn't expecting. But yeah, a lot happened in these chapters, guys. But there are so many details in these chapters that I'd completely forgotten about. And like doing this reread, or actually doing a reading of this book, is helping me remember so many things I'd forgotten. But we've read 6 chapters today. For day 3, we're going to start from chapter 13, which is called We Visit the Junkyard of the Gods. I know what's going to happen in this chapter. I'm going to have some tissues ready. You guys should too. But I will check back in for day 3. Hey guys, welcome back to day 3 of the reading vlog. Today's the last day of the reading vlog, and we're finally finishing off The Titan's Curse. I am so excited to finish off this book, but I'm also dreading the chapters that are to come because they're so heartbreaking and devastating. But we're gonna get through this, and yeah, we're gonna start off from chapter 13 today. Chapter 13 is called We Visit the Junkyard of the Gods. Oh, there goes my bookmark. I know what's gonna happen in this chapter because it's like a big chapter. It's absolutely heartbreaking and I might cry, but let's get into it and let's read chapter 13. Before I start reading, guys, I want to show you guys my official Percy Jackson merch. I'm actually so happy with it. But it's like the hoodie, like the sweatshirt with like all the cabins of all the gods, and this is like from the website that was released while season 2 was coming out. So this is like official merch and not like knockoff merch. But we have like all the cabins, like we have a few. We have Hermes, Athena, Ares, Poseidon, and then we have Artemis, and then Hera, Apollo, or no, Demeter. But like we have all the gods, and it's so colorful and it's like so beautiful, and I can't wait to wait when season 3 comes out. But I'm gonna read chapter 13 now. As I said, we visit the junkyard of the gods, and yeah, let's get to reading. Oh, okay. So when they were fighting the like undead, or just like the skeletons that were chasing them, Bianca apparently just stabbed it and it went up in flames, and that's like a huge kind of like hint to like her godly parent, and like she's a daughter of Hades, and so whatever like dead thing comes at her, she's able to like defeat it easier than others. So I like that, and I like how they put that detail, and I didn't remember that at all. So they just talked about like Bianca and Nico's past, and they're talking about Vegas and how they want to go there. But like Bianca obviously she protests because like she has history with Las Vegas and like the Lotus Casino. And I really hope that they have this scene in the show and that they talk about this specific part of their backstory in the show because it's very, very relevant, especially when you get to book 5, The Last Olympian, because a lot more of Nico and Bianca's backstory is explained in book 5, and also like a lot more about the Oracle and whatever. And so I really hope that they already give a hint of that specific like kind of part of their story in season 3. And it's also like a good scene because like it shows kind of like a connection or like a similarity that both Bianca and Thalia have. Thalia was like kind of like frozen in time because she was turned into a pine tree, and she was a pine tree for like what, 5 years, 6 years? No, she was like frozen in time. So like she didn't age basically. And the same thing happened with Bianca and Nico, except for, they weren't turned into a tree. Instead, they were trapped inside like the Lotus Casino. So like again, they also didn't like age. They're also trapped in time, like Thalia. So like that's kind of like a similarity that they have. But now they have met Ares again. And now we also get to meet Aphrodite for the first time. And Aphrodite is played by Kate McKinnon. And this is a very important Percabeth scene, you could say, but it's very important for like their dynamic and like how it shifts going into book 4 and book 5. But I'm very excited to read this chapter. I'm literally gonna be blushing. I'm so excited. This has to be in the show, and I know that it's definitely in this show for season 3. I love this quote so much, guys. Pick the most beautiful actress you can think of. The goddess was 10 times more beautiful than that. Pick your favorite hair color, eye color, or whatever. The goddess had that. When she smiled at me, just for a moment, she looked a little like Annabeth. The fact that Percy meets the goddess of love for the first time, and he envisions Annabeth, I have kind of like a theory of how this is going to play out in the show, especially since they haven't casted like a separate like black actress for Aphrodite. And what I think is going to happen is that when Percy starts to envision Annabeth, it's going to switch from Kate McKinnon as Aphrodite to Leah as Annabeth herself, sitting right in front of Percy inside that limo. So it's going to switch from both Aphrodite and Annabeth, and then like after Percy is done envisioning Aphrodite as Annabeth, it's going to switch back to Kate McKinnon's Aphrodite sitting in front of him. And I genuinely 100% this is how they portrayed this scene, because there's no way that they cut this scene out, because this is a very important scene when it comes to Percy realizing his feelings for Annabeth and realizing that she means more than just a friend to him. But obviously he's like too oblivious, but like it's a click and it's like a turning point in their kind of like dynamic and relationship. So they definitely need to have the scene in the show, otherwise I'm gonna literally crash out. But this is such a cute scene, guys, and I can't wait to see it, and also to see Kate McKinnon's like portrayal of Aphrodite, because like in the books Aphrodite is like very like girly, very like she's in love and all of that, and like she's just the goddess of love. But like Kate McKinnon, like she is always typecast for like these roles of like comedy. She's known for SNL. She's known as like weird Barbie from like the Barbie movie in 2023. And so when she was cast as Aphrodite, I was kind of skeptical because I was like, how is she gonna portray and like play the goddess of love? But I'm really excited to see her take on Aphrodite in the show. And yeah, I'm gonna continue reading now. I also love how Aphrodite is like clocking Percy back and forth about his feelings for Annabeth. Because it's like, Annabeth is in trouble. Aphrodite beamed. Exactly. I love how she set it all up to make Percy go look for Annabeth. I love that. And like Aphrodite is the biggest Percy Bether ever. Like in season 2, when Percy said, "Oh, I'd burn down Olympus for you, Annabeth," everyone was like making these TikToks of like, "Oh my god, Aphrodite is like freaking out. Aphrodite is like so happy." But it's true. She's like the Percy Bether. And I can't wait to see Aphrodite in season 3, guys. Like I love her so much when it comes to like her and like her opinion and like her kind of like her helping with like Percy Bet's relationship. I'm very excited. Guys, I don't want to read further. I really don't. Talos attacked. Bianca, it was revealed that Bianca was the one that took something from the junkyard, which was a small Hades myth magic figurine for Nico, since it was the only one missing in his collection. Oh boy. They defeated Talos, but since Bianca was inside, she couldn't make it out. And Bianca D'Angelo is gone, and Zoe is crying, and I think this is the first time in this book that we've seen Zoe cry, except for like Artemis, probably, like when Artemis was taken. But it shows the bond between the huntresses. It shows how their bond is like, it's so strong. And even though Bianca wasn't a hunter or a huntress for a long time, Zoe still cared about her, and her like being gone is affecting Zoe a lot. Genuinely seeing this in live action is gonna fuck me up so bad. I'm sorry for my swearing, but it's gonna fuck me up so bad. The fact that Walker mentioned that after they filmed the junkyard scene, it messed him up for a few days. This scene is gonna fuck me up so bad, guys. I'm not ready for season 3. Anyways, we're on to chapter 14, which is called I Have a Damn Problem. Now, if you've been a Percy Jackson fan for a while, you know the inside joke. And I'm actually not ready for the entire world to get in on our inside jokes, but it's okay. But it's actually the only fun chapter in this book. Let's just say that. It's the only like kind of comedic and fun chapter in this book as I remember. But I'm gonna continue reading, and yeah. Oh, I love the small detail. I love how Percy noticed that Thalia is afraid of heights and that's why she can't go above to the cliff. And I love how he kind of like created a distraction, or like created or thought of something else that would be more comfortable for her. I love that. Like, because, you know, even though they don't fully get along, he still has respect for her and like he still understands her, I guess. I love that small detail. I'm really excited for all the damn jokes, guys. Like, it's been such an inside joke in the fandom for years. Okay, so Percy's like trying to escape, and he meets a ranger, or like a tourist ranger, I guess, in the elevator, and she's described as having startlingly gray eyes. And I think that this is Athena, because like a lot of people have said that in this book, Percy gets to see Athena for the first time, and one is at the ending of the book at Olympus, and like another one apparently is in the Hoover Dam, and I think this is the scene where he sees the ranger, but he doesn't like immediately clock or realize that it's Athena. That would actually, I would love to see this in the show, and I honestly, I had completely forgotten about this scene or like this moment in the book, because I only thought that Percy met Athena once, but apparently not. Okay, guys, we just met, or like we just encountered Rachel Elizabeth Dare. I am actually so excited to see Rachel in the show. Like, I don't like Rachel in like the whole Percy Annabeth like love triangle thing, or like whatever it's called. Like, I don't like it when she interferes with Percibeth, but I love Rachel as her own character. She's such a diva. She is such a diva. Like, she's spoilers for the other books, so skip forward a few minutes. She is the freaking Oracle. That is Rachel Elizabeth Dare, and I'm actually so excited to see who's gonna play her. I will stand by this, and I will actually be so pissed if she's not Rachel, because she is literally Rachel Elizabeth Dare, and she gives off Rachel vibes. Luna Steeples as Rachel Elizabeth Dare is perfect. Absolutely perfect. The fact that she's also friends with Walker and Leah, well, mostly Leah, it has to happen, guys. Like, it has to happen. She has to be Rachel Elizabeth Dare. That or the girl who played Tina in Stranger Things. Like, one of those two I'm gonna be fine with, but I'm actually so excited to see Rachel. And I hope that in season 3, like, we know that we're not gonna get a casting for Rachel and we haven't gotten it yet, and she won't be casting until season 4. I hope we do get a faceless cameo. By that, I mean, like, I hope that in the scene, for example, when, like, Percy's, like, running away from the skeletons, in the background, we see a girl with, like, reddish hair and, like, Rachel Elizabeth Dare vibe clothes, and maybe, like, we get to see a peek of her, like, green eyes. But I'd love a faceless cameo of Rachel Elizabeth Dare. Okay, so Percy finally clocked that the tour guide in the elevator was in fact Athena. And so they're trying to, like, say a prayer or something to, like, have either Zeus or Athena help them with, like, battling the skeletons. And again, they said a prayer and nothing happened. And that just shows how much of a deadbeat Athena is, how much of a deadbeat all the gods are, except for Artemis. But, like, I'm a daughter of Athena. I'm a cabin 6, but I'm also kind of a bit of cabin 3 and cabin 7, but mostly cabin 6. And low key, like, even though I'm a daughter of Athena, I will 100% agree that she is a very deadbeat parent. Apparently, something did happen. Angels appeared and they took Percy, Thalia, Grover, and, like, Zoe away from Hoover Dam. I had no clue that there were angels in this book, guys. But now they have escaped Hoover Dam, and we are on to chapter 15. I wrestle Santa's evil twin. I have actually no clue what this chapter could be about, which is why I love Rick Riordan chapter titles. I'm gonna continue reading. Oh my god. I just found out, or, like, it just clocked to me why this episode, not this episode, this chapter is called I Wrestle Santa's Evil Twin. Because Nereus is described with, like, he has a white beard, he's fat, and he looks like Santa Claus. And so he is Santa's evil twin because he's not, like, a good person. Everything makes sense now. Oh my god, he can change shape? Nereus can change shapes, and I'm actually so excited to see this in live action. I don't know if they're gonna keep it, because it's, like, it's gonna be hard to do, but I'm really excited to see this, because now the scene of Walker, like, getting ready to, like, sprint at Nereus and, like, run at him makes so much sense, because in the book, Percy tackles Nereus when he's not giving any information, and so they plunge, or, like, they fall together in San Francisco Bay. Everything makes sense now, guys. Everything makes sense now, and I'm actually so happy now. Bessie is the beast that Artemis was looking for? I had no clue that this even happened. Wait, so Bessie's the dangerous creature. Sweet little Bessie is the creature that is destined to destroy Olympus? What the heck? Okay, so I just finished chapter 15. We're on to chapter 16 now. We meet the dragon of eternal bad breath, and this is, I have a feeling this is going to be a very Zoe-centered chapter, because we ended chapter 15 on the note of them going to the garden of Zoe's sisters, so, like, Zoe's home, I guess. Oh my god. Okay, so I kind of had an idea of this. Zoe, the hero that, like, betrayed Zoe, is Hercules, and Percy just clocked that because Grover talks about, like, the lion skin and how Hercules used it. Now they are going to Annabeth's home, and I'm actually so excited to see more of Annabeth's kind of, like, past and, like, her kind of, like, her life before she went to camp, and Percy exploring and, like, seeing how Annabeth's, like, past was like. So they just visited Annabeth's home and they're leaving now, but they visited Dr. Chase's study. But I really hope in the show, in season 3, we have, like, this very small moment when they're passing past Annabeth's room on the way to Dr. Chase's study, maybe, and then Percy enters Annabeth's room and he sees maybe, like, the letters that he sent over to her over the summer, and, like, she kept them in a drawer or something, or, like, I really hope that he just sees those letters. Okay, so they reached, like, Zoe's home, and they're facing Laden the dragon. And one of my friends, or like one of my mutuals, talked about this, and I think it's such a genius idea because we know that Luke's first quest was to retrieve something from a dragon, and that dragon ultimately gave him his like huge scar across his face. So I really hope in season 3 we get a moment when they're near like Mount Othrys and Luke looks at the dragon, and then he has a small moment of like looking at the dragon and like being scared of the dragon because that dragon hurt him and gave him his scar. Like, we both would love to see a scene of Luke looking at the dragon and being scared of the dragon because of the history that he has with that dragon. And I would love that detail because it's like such an impactful small scene. Okay, we are on to chapter 17 now. Chapter 17 is called I Put on a Few Million Extra Pounds. And they are at Mount Othrys. They saw Artemis. She's in chains. She's holding up the sky. Percy sees Annabeth, and Annabeth is desperately trying to tell him something. And I just know Leah's acting as Annabeth for season 3 is going to be so good. Leah is so good at doing facial expressions and like using her face and expressions to express how Annabeth is feeling. That's why she's such a good Annabeth. So I'm really excited to see the scene play out because I know it's going to break my heart. But anyways, guys, Luke is actually going to kill me. I'm so not ready. Percabeth is going to kill me, and Luke is actually going to destroy me. I can't do this. I need this exact quote, word for word, in the show, please. You aren't Luke. I don't know you anymore. Yes, you do, Thalia, he pleaded. Please don't make me. Don't make him destroy you. Oh my god, I can't do this, guys. Everyone's back at camp. Clarice is back from her secret quest. Obviously, I know what that is. And Nico just asked, "Hey, where's my sister?" Seeing 2 apples tall Levi say that line as Nico D'Angelo in season 3 is actually going to break my heart. Like, the maternal instinct is going to take over and it's going to break my heart. But I'm going to continue reading because I want to get over with it. Because it's pure heartbreak, guys. This book is pure heartbreak. Guys, he's only 14. No, I said, I chose a prophecy. It'll be about me. Why are you saying that? She cried. You want to be responsible for the whole world? It was the last thing I wanted, but I didn't say that. I knew I had to step up and claim it. I can't let Nico be in any more danger, I said. I owed that much to his sister. I let them both down. I'm not going to let that poor kid suffer anymore. This is Percy's fatal flaw. He is very loyal, but he will also do anything to make sure that others aren't in danger. Again, that's his fatal flaw, loyalty. And we end the Titan's Curse with Grover getting a signal from Pan and him finding out that Pan says, I await you. And so, guys, we have finished the Titan's Curse. Did this book break my heart? Yes, 3 times. Did this book make me cry? Yes, probably like 4 times. Did this book traumatize me in some ways? Yes. Am I ready to see it in live action? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. By the time season 3 rolls around, by the time the first teaser for season 3 drops, probably in like July for SDCC or like D23, I will literally be crying. And I know I'm being very dramatic, guys, but this book is my second favorite book, so I need it to be done justice. But also, this book is truly such a big turning point in the show and in like the way that the series is gonna progress. Like, guys, I'm not ready. I'm literally not ready. This book is, let's see how many pages it is. This book is 312 pages of absolute heartbreak and trauma. We love you, Titans Curse. Anyways, guys, that does it for my complete reread of the Titans Curse in preparation for season 3 of the show. My next video will be my episode title predictions for season 3 since I finally have a refresher on the Titans Curse. I hope you enjoyed this reading vlog. I sure enjoyed making it. It took me a while, but it's finally done. I hope you guys enjoy it. And let me know in the comments down below what you're most excited to see in season 3, who your favorite character is, or just like stuff you're excited for, and maybe some tips on if I could improve my reading vlogs. This is my first time making one, so any tips would be very much appreciated. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys!